learned from a former manager of the water department out here. I had been checking for the longest time on the water treatment plant because everybody's complaining of getting bleached clothes. I get holes in my clothes. I got physically sick one day because of drinking out of the water hose. I'll explain that. Kids are getting rashes from chemical burns, too much chlorine in the water. Other people are getting sick like me. People are having their hair fall out, and the only thing that's connecting them together is the water. I mean, we're not eating after each other. We don't know each other to be able to do that kind of stuff. We're not around each other. The only thing that connects you is the water.
Rick, can we ask just a poll by a raise of hands who's all experienced that?
Sure. I mean,
bleached clothes, rashes, hair falling out. Ladies, men, all alike. If your hair is falling out, that's because the chloride that they're trying to put in the water they're trying to over-chlorinate the water to treat it. It's jacking with your thyroid. It is a thyroid issue. That is why your hair is falling out. We've had several men who have come forward and said their hair is falling out, which is not an absolute. Usually women are the shedders, but that's not an absolute norm for men. And this just tells us the taxing effects that you don't even see that are happening to your thyroids.
anyway, we brought all of this stuff. We've been trying to bring it to attention, trying to get TCQ. We tried to stay quiet. I mean, at the beginning, we were very loud. And then we thought, well, we'll be quiet and see what happens. Nothing happened. We couldn't get that way. So we've done some other things instead. Let's talk about anybody showed up that's actually from Greenwood. No, still no forum. Talk about the plant that they built, the water treatment plant. The water treatment plant was not engineered to be built. They don't have a permit to operate. It's what's providing all of us water. That plant was built for a certain number of houses, which would include about 500 homes. They've now added close to, I imagine we're somewhere around 2,000 to 2,500 homes. That's why we're running out of water. It's not because the wells are going dry, although that is happening. It's because they don't have enough storage down here to store water in to supply the water during the day. And if they had enough
No, the
storage,
pumps aren't big enough.
Have losing our water is what's going on there. Talk about the plant they built. It's an RO plant. I think everybody knows that their RO system. RO system puts out for every 4 gallons of water it takes in, it only 1 gallon of water is all you get to drink out of or use for your house. The other 3 gallons is wastewater. And that has to be disposed of properly. Most of the time, you see it, they'll put in an evaporation plant, they'll dig a big ditch in the ground, and they'll go get liner and line it so it doesn't get in the ground. They didn't do that. They just dug a big ditch, and this water, which is high in arsenic, high in heavy metals, is seeping into the water table.
And the whistleblower confirmed that.
Yeah, and it's been confirmed. It's seeping in the water tables. They're telling people who own any homes around that water plant off of here on 1120, they need to start testing the water wells because it's going to get to the point they can't use it. And it's not because they're out of water. But at the same time, we got to be concerned because that same water table is where they're pulling water for us.
Now, a lot of people have had concerns of why is this whistleblower coming forward? Like, what stakes do they have in the game? Let me tell you, what has been done is a felony. It is criminal activity. They will go to jail for a very long time. However, they're protected. If they come forward and they speak the truth as a whistleblower, there's a protection of any legal ramifications being put on them. So that is one reason that our whistleblower has been very open and said, here, I'm laying it all out. What we did was wrong. Everything we did, here it is. This is where it was. I can testify to these things. And I don't know if you guys heard Nino's broadcast with him, but it is absolutely deeper than we ever thought, and it is incredibly disturbing.
He said he couldn't even live with himself if he kept working there.
Yes. Yeah. That is why he switched jobs. I cannot imagine going to work knowing that I'm poisoning people, a community, not just a set group of people.
That's why, if y'all saw today, I posted on the post on there. I don't normally post a whole lot of stuff, especially on the grapevine. I will post for here, different things. But I posted that, hoping that people from Greenwood would show up so they could hear it, because I don't think they know it. And going back to the water, that's fine. I got it. To operate, they have to get what's called a CCN. It's convenience. Basically, it's just saying we can operate. We can operate within a certain area. They have a CCN to operate within VANDER Ranch. And they also have Greenwood Water have a CCN to operate in the homes behind the high school in that area over there. They don't have a CCN to provide any kind of service to Pond Grove over here where we're providing water, and we're also getting their sewer that's coming to our sewer.
It's a certificate of convenience and necessity.
They don't have a CCN to provide water to Greenwood Country Estates. And if anybody saw where Fred Franklin was bad-mouthing everybody about and talking great about Park Water, he builds in Greenwood Country Estates. And he had them come in and build service into those houses that they're building place there. 2 years ago, I asked Fred Franklin why he wasn't building out here. And Fred Franklin told me, quote, and his quote, Trevor Hill's a crook, I wouldn't do any business with him. But now he's not. And so I'm going to go the other direction of what I think about Fred Franklin. He built a great house, but he don't tell the truth. If the sewer plant, whenever they investigated it, the sewer plant was built to provide services to about 150 homes. That was the initial build right in here at VANDER Ranch. It has never been expanded. We brought in some frac tanks down the road, and then holding sludge, shit, in those frac tanks, and occasionally calling in a vacuum truck to come get it and haul it off. I've got other ideas of what they're doing with it. I can't prove it, so I'll leave that alone. But we have a group that they have committed felony offenses. We've reported it to the district attorney's office or to the environmental department, who's reported to the district attorney's office. And what happened to those charges, we don't know. I don't have any idea. But since then, we have new felony charges that the environmental department, I will say, the environmental department is interested in. I don't know if they're going to investigate it or not investigate it, but they do know about it. Hopefully they find out. We're dealing with the potential of losing our sewer service and losing our water service out here if we don't do something. I mean, if you can't hear me, stick your hand up.
Am I the only deaf one in the group?
Oh,
Now that's why I talk loud.
I'll talk louder. I told you I can yell if I need to.
Let it rip.
Go ahead, Stacy.
Is all this happening because TCEQ knows if they bring forth those violations, they will eventually have to take over?
I talked to Brian Slocum and who is the regional director of TCEQ, and I also talked to his supervisor, who I don't remember what her title is, today. They actually called me today. I'm going to say that the only reason they called me is because we got enough word out there that they're a little bit scared. All right? Every violation that everybody has put in and made, they have actually investigated it. And they have made a referral to Austin. And it has gone to Austin, died. The plan itself down here is supposed to be in a, what do you call it, enforcement action. Their enforcement action that they decided in Austin, Texas, was to fine them $12,000.
It was actually a little higher than that. It was $16,000, but remember, because they got deferred, which means they don't pay it all at once and they pay it out, they reduced it to the $12,000. Let that make sense.
And then give them 3 years to pay it on top of that. I mean, they're within that enforcement action, they're to get a permit to increase the size. It's not in the enforcement action that they have to increase the size. So it's still doesn't provide sewer service for 150 people. At that point in time, it was operating at like 90% capacity. we've now provided all the homes they've built here, plus Pecan Grove going in here. So it's operating probably at 300 to 400% over capacity right now. So it's destined to fail. Here a while back, we tested the water in the pond that they claim down here is a reclaimed water pond from the sewer. They're wanting to say that what they're doing is treating this water and making it type 1 water. Type 1 water you can actually drink. You don't want to because you know where it came from, but you can actually drink it. That's not what they're producing. They're producing what's known as type 2 water. Type 2 water can be used in irrigation on crops, as long as it's not a crop like a watermelon or a cantaloupe or something that's on the outside. You can use it for irrigating hay or something to that effect. This water down here tested high in arsenic, and we got kids playing around there. It tested high in heavy metals. It's your
Lead.
your iron, uranium, all of those. It tests high.
And that's the one that was 3 times the legal limit for chloride.
Yeah.
The chloride is the chlorine. 3 times the legal limit. That chlorine dissipates and goes in the environment. It's very deadly. It's a neurotoxin to you. Yeah, you had E. coli, which is E. coliform. It's a type of bacteria, and then you also had coliform, which is a type of bacteria. Also, what I found very interesting about that is they did the total dissolved solids, and the total dissolved solids should be 0.001, somewhere in that. It was solid 1. It was a solid 1. And I asked the lady at Martin Labs, I said, okay, so tell me exactly, what do you think about that? She said, literally, you go to the bathroom, you take everything out of your toilet, you put it in a blender, turn it on, and then pour it into your bathtub. Now go take a bath in it. That's what's there. It's just liquefied. That is your toilet paper. That is your feces. That is your urine. It's just liquefied.
So how is that making that into that pond?
They're
They
pumping.
have a line that runs from the sewer plant into the pond. Okay? It was buried back in the day.
Yeah.
Is that illegal? Is that legal?
It's not permitted.
It's not permitted.
And
Now,
this is
what's
already,
being pumped up here, what your kids are walking through
Right.
to the bus.
Right.
So keep that in mind, that's not just what's out there.
According to the TCEQ, it's supposed to be 75 foot from anybody's property line if it's type 1. If it's type 2, it has to be 150 foot. I challenged that with TCEQ, and they just basically told me it's far enough, but they would not state that what the findings was, even though I told them that was their own regulation. Yeah.
No.
And then they charge us extra to have a view of that pond.
Does anybody live on that pond? Do you live on that pond? So you live on that pond. You've actually paid more. And the stench is so. And I'm going to tell you guys, coming as a carpetbagger here, an outsider. I mean, I'm in the city, so when we come to Greenwood, you would pass by 307 and you'd smell the sewer plant, and you would be like, "Whoo, things are ripe today!" Like you just knew it, right? But people that live around there, they get used to it, right? That they get acclimated to that smell. And when Rick and I went out and took soil samples out in the pit that they were putting it in, my daughter and myself got out of the car and we were like, "Oh, it stinks." And he was like, it's a little raunch. We stuck the shovel in, and the minute we moved dirt, and we're talking, Rick, how far down were we?
Less than a foot.
Less than a foot. We moved that, and I was like, doing everything to keep it down. And my daughter was like, "Oh my gosh, we take it to some of your residents," and they were like, "Does it smell that bad?" And I'm like, "Can you not like, I smell like I smell it. Like it's on me. It's permeated my skin, every porous in my body." But you've been out here and you've gotten acclimated to it, and that's not okay. And that's how they're going to try to keep you deaf, dumb, blind, and stupid.
Within that pond, they're also mixing it with a well on Cheney Ranch. It's popped over here, and they're mixing it up. That well at Cheney Ranch has arsenic levels at level 5 times the allowable rate for arsenic in the water, and they're putting it in this water down here. So it's high levels of arsenic down there. We've got kids running around down there. It scares the shit out of me.
I see kids swimming there.
Yeah.
I've seen
Oh,
kids
yeah.
It really scares the crap out of me. And these guys don't care. I mean, they flat don't care.
Is there a long-term effects?
Arsenic?
Sure. Liver
I heard
toxicity?
on the radio today that everything's okay in Vander Ranch. That's what I heard from Terry Johnson. So I'm surprised over here.
We're not on Terry yet. We'll get there.
Can't wait.
All right. Anyway, they're piping it in. They're using it for irrigation. All this green space down through here where the kids gather for the school bus and stuff, they're irrigating that with the water from that pond. So anybody who sends their kids up here and they're waiting for the bus and all that kind of stuff, you got to be concerned. They're exposing your children to this stuff, and they don't give a fuck. I mean, I hate cussing, but I'm mad. They don't care. They don't care if your kids die.
We
It's
stopped.
all about money.
We stopped a group of 4 or 5 kids that were playing in this little ravine right here, and you know they're over there playing with the. There's little bitty signs that say, they're purple and they're about this big, and they say not to touch the water. If you touch the water, you need to wash your hands. It says, you know, do not drink the water, do not drink or put your hands. Like, why would you have that? If this was a safe irrigation, it's because it's pure sewage. And you know, these kids had no clue. One of the sisters drove up to pick them up, pick one of the boys up, and I asked her, I said, do you know what is in this soil out here? What your brothers and your neighborhood friends are playing in? Had no clue. They live in a rental community back there. They had absolutely zero clue. That is not okay. It is our job to keep them safe. We are the adults. And when the adults fail us, we need to become mama and papa bears like we are. We need to get.
We're working on it.
So I'm glad you asked for a solution. There is Kyle. Kyle, are you here? You want to come on over?
Put you now. Or you want to talk a minute? Let me just say one thing.
Put me on the
How many
spot.
people
Yeah.
live in the rentals back here? Anybody else? Y'all's rentals, the backyard of y'all's rentals is watered with this water.
Oh yeah. So
It's watered with this water.
who here
So
does not
anybody
have
who has
control of their
kids that like to
irrigation?
Go in the backyard to play on the grass.
That's illegal.
You're
Yeah.
good. That is.
You have no control over your irrigation, correct? So your irrigation goes off whether you want it to or not, right?
Do y'all have a backflow line at your home?
Clean out line.
No.
Gosh,
Were y'all told not to use that water at the hose? I saw someone posted about a dog not to.
Yeah, your dogs in the backyard, they're getting exposed to it.
And they're taking it in the house.
Yeah, and that's something I was explaining to the kids. They're out here running and playing, and they're being kids, and I'm glad that they're outside. But this is a very scary community for those kids to be outside, because what do they do when they come in? They walk inside and they have their shoes on. You think they didn't just transfer all that into your house? And then what if you have a baby that's toddling around, crawling on their belly, learning to walk? What if your kids take their shoes off and you're walking? You're literally exposing yourself to this day in and day out. 90% of you are cleaning with the water on your floors. You have no clue what was in it. It's not your fault. So you have to say, where's the blame lie? A lot of people go, where's all the solutions? You know, give me a solution. Give me a solution. I made a post about Vander Ranch, and I woke up one morning and it dawned on me. AI knows a lot of things. AI goes through and it searches everything. It has to have a lot of data points. That's how AI works. AI can be good and it can be evil. So I went to Gemini, which is a Google AI, and I asked Gemini, what can you tell me about the water situation? The water situation, not crisis, I'm not giving any red flags, in Vander Ranch, Midland County, Texas. It immediately popped up. It was giving me all the problems you guys have. The constant shutoffs of your water, the quality of your water, the raw sewage being dumped. There's been multiple outlets that this has been reported at. Multiple entities have reported on this. And not one time have we had anybody from the county come and assist here. Problem is, we've got some finger pointing, but right now we're going to band together and we're going to get some solutions. And what are some of the solutions? Kyle emailed me and he goes, you know, I thought I'd take a spin on it and say, what solutions, AI? Even AI has a solution for your problems. Investigate and enforce water quality standards. That's TCEQ. They need to be investigated. What they're doing is wrong. They're not following through with procedures that they have put in place that they did in what was it, Stan? What year? 1980, 1992, 94? When they went to, that's our tax dollars at work or not at work. Address billing disputes. There's been a public hearings that need to be held to review the Park Water's proposed rate increases. I wouldn't be paying a single dime for this water. Secure funding and infrastructure. Allocate funds from Texas' $1 billion water project investment. That was approved in November of 2023. Are you not a Texan? You are. Are you receiving water in Texas? You are. Why can you not have a part of that money? Why can Greenwood not get part of that money allocated? Why, Stacy?
Because a crooked politician is putting it in their pocket.
Because somebody else is pocketing it. Somebody else is taking that. We're getting we've got a good old boy system in place right now, and good old boy system hires their good old boy to do a job. It's a shoddy job. Unfortunately, good old boy got paid, shoddy job got paid, and you got nothing. But we have $1 billion. You need to be contacting your commissioner. You need to be contacting your county judge and saying, I want this money allocated for us. We deserve that. It's $1 billion sitting there. Commissioner has estimated $10 million for water system upgrades across the county. And that is a recognized need that we all need, right? We need water security. We're Midland County. We've got everybody pulling from our water. Getting a portion of that water that we provide, a good amount of tax dollars, a very good amount of tax dollars from our community go right down to Austin. We deserve to have part of that back. And if our people aren't out there lobbying for us, then we need to go lobby ourselves.
May I add something?
Yes.
This will be for the camera, the mic, but the other sort of political-ish solution, there's the $42 million, or maybe I have the number wrong, but the money being allocated for a walking trail somewhere near the interstate, as well as all the money being allocated to the jail project and also water to those projects. At least for the walking trail, that money, there could be some political pressure put forth to move that money to this project where it should be prioritized, because this is both illegal things happening and a health situation.
That's correct.
My name is Kyle Cramblett. I work for the John Birch Society. I helped some of these friends here with the recent elections as far as the Midland College bond. And I kind of I help advise where necessary, let's say politically. Very much so, yeah. The foundation of the Birch Society is to be an effective activist at restoring constitutional government, yet you must understand how the government is supposed to work. So we try to teach people that sort of thing, and then teach them how to restore their government, be it local or whatever.
How do you think that any of this is a retaliation from not passing and not voting for the bond for the water? Question.
Well, it was happening before the bond, but I don't know enough about Terry Johnson and his plans as an elected person. But on the other bond, some of the people elected to the college board, I could kind of tell that bond, that was like their primary reason for running, was to get that thing, at least from my perspective, in my opinion. So a lot of times these projects, because they are so lucrative for development, just like a school bond. You never notice with a school bond, teachers never get a raise. It's because the school bond's there for development purposes. So as far as retaliation or whatever, it's certainly a motivator even if you disagree, you know, I know this isn't happening because we didn't pass the bond. You might just give up and feel demoralized and say, even though it's not true, I'll vote for the damn thing anyway. That kind of seems like the play here. And to me, it's political suicide. I mean, for an elected person, it's terrible.
Terry Johnson
I mean,
did post no bond. Y'all didn't want the bond, so now you don't get the water. Something like that.
I don't know what Terry Johnson posted because he blocked me after 3 comments in less than 8 hours.
A couple days back, that's what he said.
Yeah. I mean, he literally.
He specifically said no bond, no go.
I think I received your screenshot. Thank you, sister. Keep sending them. He's been very mouthy on his page, and this is not a time that it's who has the better comeback, because I guarantee you, my husband will tell you I'm quick with my mouth. I am a very quick-winded, and that's why I got blocked. I have no time for Terry Johnson. He has had no time for you as his constituents, whether you voted for him or you didn't vote for him. Every bit of this falls into his courts, and he can pass the ball and drop the ball all he wants. November comes and we have an election and we have another candidate who's running. We will find more about that candidate, and I promise we will be getting you guys in touch with that candidate, because anything is better than somebody who sits and name calls, nitpicks. I was called a carpetbagger. Do y'all know what that term is? Anybody?
Yeah. Actually, it began because the Republicans from the North came down to protect the black slaves.
During the Civil War. I had to get a history lesson on it.
It's because what the luggage they showed up with was like carpet.
Made of carpet.
Was made of carpet. So you're considered an outsider. You're considered, guys, I am a Midlander. I was born and raised in Midland County. My passion is Midland. I love Midland. I love Midland County. This is home to me. Always has been, always will be. I am not here because I get paid. Nino's not here because he gets paid. Stan's not here because he gets paid. We don't get a single dime off of this. Our job is to get your voice out, because you just literally shut down every corner that you've turned around and asked for help. And that's not okay. And this is how we make a difference, is we band together, just like our little bitty grassroots media company. We band together as citizens and say, we're not taking it anymore. We, the people, step up to our rights. And water should be a commodity that each one of you feel comfortable and safe with drinking.
The subdivision agreement on the county page says they'll do it.
It does. That is correct. So we're really, I mean, I just say tune in to K-Well tomorrow, because evidently my dad called me and said Terry Johnson had posted some more stuff about what they could get into. And, you know, it's becoming so one-sided, and they think that they're snowballing everybody. But if you have, I mean, y'all have all got kids, so you're all at the school, you have friends, reach out to them and see if they're having issues. Because I promise you, it's not just contained here in Vander Ranch. This thing is...
I'll tell you one that I ran across with a guy named John Evans. I don't know if y'all know him. He lives out here 5 miles from y'all. 2 years ago, he built a house, $600,000, 2.5 acres. His well was 25 gallons a minute. And I asked him, well, how's it doing today? He said, 2 gallons a minute. He's having to haul water. So this water district, what they're doing is they're tapping into your aquifer. They won't let you drill a well, but they're tapping into y'all's aquifer and they're reselling it to you. That's what they're wanting to do. And like I said, his well went from 25 gallons a minute to 2 gallons a minute. He said, I have to take a military bath, pee in the backyard.
Yep.
So Rick, Kyle, is there anything
Rick, do
legally
you
we
have an
can do?
update? Yeah, what's the update?
Can you give me an update? So we worked in the shadows for a long time and realized that didn't work. And so we went to the news media to try to get some news media done, and got shut down. And Nino steps in and says he'll help. And then comes Shandy. And they helped. They got our little word out. You may not always like the method, but it damn well worked. Today, Tom Craddock called us.
Woohoo!
And started indicates he's going to start putting some pressure on Austin and TCQ to see what we can get worked out here. Delivery yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I can say
But
something, Rick.
I'm going to ask everybody to flood Tom Craddock's office tomorrow with a phone call. I've got his phone number if y'all want to write it down.
Can you
Post
post all of that?
I'll post it.
We need to
Every
post, yeah.
number that we need to contact?
Yes, just flood his office saying, hey, I live out here. You got these phones. Please do something to help.
Because that was the
You don't have
remark.
to be mean to the man and you're not going to talk to him anyway. But
And
don't be mean to the people
that was
involved.
the remark
That's
he
all it
made.
is.
Is this only 4 or 5 people that we're talking about? I don't know if y'all,
That's what Terry Johnson is claiming.
right,
That
and
it's only
I don't know about y'all, but if y'all hadn't seen that recent poll, it's 250 people. Only 13 people are claiming to not be affected by that issue. I guarantee you those 13 people have their house up for sale and they don't want this negativity. And I get it. As a homeowner, I understand. But our job is to move forward. We've got a lot of things I don't want to talk about on camera.
Anyway, talking about our house, my goal is to see it fixed. Okay? My goal is to get my house value back up to where it was. That's my goal. That's what I want. My goal is to make sure my kids or my grandkids, I do have kids, but they're a little old now. But that they're my grandkids can go out here and play, and I don't have to worry about them getting sick because somebody else contaminated them. Today, like I said earlier, Ryan Slocum and her name's Crystal. I can't remember what her last name was. His supervisor, the TCEQ, called and said, Austin. I'm going to post a number for Austin's TCEQ. Call them up tomorrow and raise hell with them. Or call them up this week. I don't care what you call them. Just call them. Just to say, hey, it's not one person.
Or
It's
call
not two
Terry
people.
Johnson and let him know it's not
We're
just
going to
4
get to
people
Terry
out here.
Johnson.
We can't even waste our breath on that right now. We've got to stay focused and directed because Terry isn't going to help.
For those
He's
that
made
don't
that
know,
clear.
I am an attorney. Okay, I do not handle environmental law. I don't do civil law. I handle criminal law. So if you get in trouble, you call me. But I've learned more about water and civil and everything else law out here than I ever wanted to know in my whole damn life. And it could probably make money now if I wanted to go after it. But anyway, been calling law firms, trying to get a law firms to step in and help us. If we can get a law firm on board in a class action lawsuit, that means everybody out here is willing to step up and say, hey, I'll sign on. Class action lawsuit's not going to cost you anything. It's a contingency lawsuit. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to make much from a class action lawsuit. Anybody that's ever gotten checks for $25 because they took your
The goal
Experian,
isn't the money
got
in
your
pocket, though.
stuff
The goal is
taken.
the equity back into our home.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we want the
And
equity
people
back.
miss that. They're worried about you making money. I comment back on that about how all you're doing this for is so you can make some money. And I'm like, if you use your time and resources and you make a few dollars, so be it. If our equity goes back up, that's what the main goal is.
You make money in the end. It just looks different.
Anyway, we've got a couple that have finally bit. It's going to have to be a law firm. It's got a big war chest. I'm going to tell you that right now.
What we're
A
experiencing is
small
multiple.
firm here in Midland can't afford it.
Nope.
Money hungry guys from Dallas that are young, eager, that see the
Or
potential of this.
or San Antonio.
San Antonio, Dallas, maybe even Houston, maybe even California. Miss Brockovich, she's not an attorney, by the way, if y'all don't know that.
She is not. She is
She's an
not.
attorney.
She's just an advocate like me and Nino.
We've got some bites, and we're talking to them. If that comes through, you will hear me yell the loudest in the world, and I will tell everybody out here, and we'll start getting signatures.
So we also have this going out on media. There's a radio station that you guys need to be calling in and saying, what is the situation? And that's KCRS. They aired our story. They've picked it up. They're writing articles that were submitted and put on Tom Craddock's office, Governor Abbott's office, all the way up. But we're not stopping just here in Austin. We're sending it to every news outlet, and we're hoping that Donald Trump, we have the connections there. We're hoping that Donald Trump gets this message and comes and sees you guys because y'all deserve it. Because if we know if anybody can get something done in this country right now, it's that man. In a short amount of period of time. So we're really hoping that we get all the right eyes. God puts every eye that needs to be on this. Every mouth that needs to be mouthing and being the vocal cords for you guys is being the vocal cords. Because this is further than anyone else. And I can tell you from my experience calling all the attorneys' offices, they're like, oh, this is too much for us. Like this is a lot of manpower. Let me get back with you, but y'all come and talk with me afterwards.
What would it take to get this on national?
Oh, we're working on that. It's just that God opens the right eyes, the right ears at the very time that we need it. And that is where our hope is to be national.
We can do about people that actually have pictures of rashes and like
Post them.
people that are
If you'll
pregnant.
you'll
and,
post
are
them.
getting sick. We were sick for about 3 weeks, and I have pictures of the rash that I had in my chest and everything. So is there anything we can do to?
Absolutely. Document everything.
I work for a dermatologist. So if you people, if y'all have rashes, call me. I will get you into the dermatologist. It will be documented. That way you have a note and a documented.
Okay,
something. Yes.
Christy, what? Okay, y'all,
Dermatologist.
she is your Vander Ranch resident. Get in with her. Because if we can have a doctor diagnose this as the chemical burn that it is, I mean, we already know what it is. It's very easy to see that chemical burn. And everything that they're putting in the water, your skin is your largest organ. It absorbs everything you put on it, from lotions, the atmosphere we have in Midland, Texas. We are one of the most toxic atmospheres. And if you add water onto that, you got a deadly combination right now. And your body can't detox off of it.
Can I say something? I called the radio station, what is it, WKEL?
Oh.
KWL.
Yeah, so I called them and asked them if Rick and I could come on tomorrow, and they said yes, but they said Nino was not allowed. Yeah, Craig.
Surprising.
Yeah, some guy named Craig, the station manager, said that.
Craig Sanderson?
Yeah, he said do not.
He's not. Okay, let me just explain something to you. And I'm not going to sit here and bash K-Well. But K-Well is K-Well has a radio station in the morning, and it's Craig Anderson, okay? Craig Anderson owns the damn radio station. I called in as the hillbilly Denise that's lived in Greenwood for 27 years, and they actually, for once, let me talk. I talked for 9 minutes, but the moment I disagreed with anything about Terry Johnson is not a liked person on social media, I was immediately shut down, and they just hang up the phone. I'm gone.
Well, today and the other couple days, he's been going on there bashing even the citizens of Vander. It's like he makes y'all, like, it's saying y'all's fault. Y'all moved out here.
You moved out here. This is your fault. You should have known better. Everybody's always known Greenwood didn't have water.
I just moved here from East
Also,
Texas.
it's our fault. We're watering our yards
And I
and
got
washing our
2 young
cars.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we supposed to do as far as like showers?
Okay. So I'm gonna be as frank as far as the E. coli. We're kind of in the coliform. We're kind of in a sticky situation with that. But there is a company called Organic Jaguar, and they make these shower filters, and it will pull all the chlorine, the arsenic, the heavy metals out. You're just gonna have to change your filter more often. It is for a treated water facility, but these shower filters run you you can get 2 of them for about $120. Filters and stuff, they're going to be about $30. It's going to be an expense. Keep your receipts. Literally, physically keep your receipts. Take a picture of them, put them in your phone. Make sure you have backup documentation, not just paper documentation. But that is going to filter out quite a bit in your showers and unfortunately, if you have small kids, don't bathe them. I'm not kidding. Teach them to use the shower early on because there's not really they have their buckets, but that water splashing out. And little kids in a bathtub tend to drink the water. They just do. And that's not something you want them ingesting ever. Yeah. So Organic Jaguar, he is a reputable company. He is all about clean. He's absolutely amazing. It's a mom and pop shop. Guys, flood him in with orders. That is one of my absolute favorite. I have it on my RV. I have his filters everywhere and anywhere. I truly trust him, and I've done my research on that. I promise you that.
So besides the water issue, is there anything that we found out about HOA as far as like where our money's going? Fixing.
They're out putting violations on everybody today while the rentals have 5 foot tall
I
heat.
stopped her. I stopped her. Had a nice little conversation.
Who was her? Is her name Maria?
No, her name is Izzy.
Okay, Izzy.
And she was going to cite us for, we have a side by side, and it was sitting in the driveway. My car was in the garage because of the storm last night, and I was going out to move my car out. She was about to cite me because the Ranger was in the driveway. And I said, I can't have a Ranger in the driveway. She said, you can't own that, period. I said, well, you can't tell me what I can own. She said, these are county roads and you can't legally drive that. I said, no, you're not DPS. You can't tell me what I can drive, and you can't tell me what I can own. And so she said, well, I can't see it. If I see it, then I'm going to cite you. And I said, that's not how this works. I can have things. And so we had a conversation on a lot of things. I have Rachel Durie's number. She is her manager. I've been told, though, she doesn't answer her phone calls or emails.
Talk for a minute about the
So they're just,
everybody knows.
you're non-compliant and they're non-existent. Yeah.
I asked about the weeds that are on the rentals, and she told me that they're not, all they can do is cite, that they can't do anything about it, that they're HOA, but they're not a cleanup facility, that they don't own the rentals, that they don't have any jurisdiction or any control over it other than just citing them.
Oh, we're gonna get to
And
that.
Been citing them, but that's all that they'll do.
Okay, we'll get to that. You're gonna find this information interesting.
197, so we're talking doubling our base rate before you ever flush a toilet or you ever turn on the water.
That's in the works or that's coming up?
Can you repeat when that's happening?
Rick, is that in place or is that coming up?
That hearing is actually next week.
Yeah, we should show up.
If you want to go, I'll try to get in. I don't know where it's held at. It's in Austin. I'm going to post the where you can watch it, and if you live in VANDER RANCH, you can make an application at the hearing to intervene to be able to talk. The problem at the hearing is they don't want to hear just that we're having problems. You got to have how these problems are causing your ratings to go up. It's not that hard to figure out. I mean, they're wanting to increase their rates so they can build on the system, so they can build more houses out here that they've already doing this stuff to.
Rick, do you know how many homes they're reporting that they're providing services to
Last I checked, over 800
on the PUC website?
on the PUC website. That their actual rate increase is only based on 230 something homes. So they're saying, well, we need all this money, this $200 something from the 200 and something, although they've increased the number of homes by 500. That's something that's got to be brought up. They're talking. This is an astronomical raise for these guys down the street, and that's all they want. It's money. And I'll post that up there in a minute.
I've got a potential solution.
What?
Have y'all gone around and collected signed affidavits on what you've experienced? It's good to have that. Media-wise, we can collect a stack of 50 affidavits and then send that out to the media with the press releases. That holds a lot more weight. I just recently was involved with something where I got a couple affidavits and got the state to investigate something, and it wasn't very hard at all. But when you have sworn testimony, that it just tends to carry a lot more weight. You know, it's an under oath sort of deal. And with that, you can deliver pictures and all that stuff too. I just think that that would make it more likely that Austin American Statesman or some outfit like that would run it. If we could have one leader who would be willing to go, collect names, collect phone numbers, send out reminders, and then go collect the affidavits, I think that would be something that might be helpful. Maybe not, but it's something.
What's the start?
That's it.
Yes.
For Beater.
Yeah, you can print it off.
And we have a notary. See, this is networking. This is community. This is what Greenwood is always about.
Who's the notary? Nice. Where do you live?
Can we post
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
We can post everything.
Yeah, we'll make it. We'll make it.
If y'all don't know, these guys got access to our Facebook pages. I mean, they're reading the Facebook pages. They know.
Yeah.
We put, if y'all notice, we put signs on all the poles out here about the meeting. 2 days later, all the signs are gone. Notice that? Huh?
I mean, is it ridiculous that you guys are getting a $50 maintenance fee and you have no water? You got your water shut off last night? Who here is getting notices about the water shut off last night? Who received notices? 2 hours prior?
Yeah, about 2 hours prior.
Okay. Did y'all receive a notice? Did you receive a notice?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
It's inconsistent.
Yes.
We're getting text messages, then we only got emails. So the only way you really know is if you check your email every 5 seconds, which obviously I can do with the job of 3 kids, right? No one can.
Right.
So sometimes you get the notification after you were already supposed to be boiling your water, or after the water is already shut off, and you're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Rusty over here was running his dishwasher when the water shut off.
Mm.
Now he's replacing the
So if
dishwasher.
anybody's an electrician, I've done burned up a dishwasher. So I gotta go buy one.
Yeah, I mean that's
Let's
huge.
go back and talk about the rate increase real quick. There is a group, a state agency, that can help us in helping reduce the rate. It's called the Texas Public Utility Council. I will post their phone number. Everybody needs to get on the phone and call them tomorrow. They're protesting on our behalf, but they don't have anybody. They've got 1 or 2 people that have called in and talked to everybody. Everybody needs to call them. They're the professionals in how to handle the rate increases. They can present our side, how this rate increase is absolutely ridiculous with what they're doing now. So I'll post the phone number so you can call them.
I feel like even if we call, they don't do much about it.
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I don't
Doesn't
even
matter.
know if they're,
It's documented. Everything is
I was about to say, they said they were gonna send me an email. I never
You
received
never
it.
got one. They told me they
Follow up.
Follow up.
Always follow up. All right.
Who's working on it? You know, I'm amazed. I really just thought there's only about 10 people show up tonight. I really did. I'm sad that there's not more. I'm really sad there's not more. But I'm happy all of y'all showed up because I really wasn't expecting that.
Well, hopefully everybody that's here will call.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take more than this to make a motion.
Oh, 100%. But this is where we start. That's why I said reach out to your Greenwood friends. They should be calling on your behalf.
Greenwood friends just want to say, well, you're in Vander and you should have bought there. It's not our problem.
Can I say something about that?
Yeah.
So we're just renters. Don't hate us, okay? But like we're just renting. But we moved here from out of state. So one, those claiming we should have known better, or we should have known the water
If they don't
just
tell you,
sucks.
there's no way
Like
you can find out.
we didn't know that there were dust tornadoes. Okay. Like,
Bless your heart. We have haboobs. I'm so sorry.
we're from Missouri. You can drink water from the faucet. Like it's
from most of the creeks.
we didn't know that
Yeah.
we couldn't drink water from the faucet for the first month that we lived here because, okay, let's talk about this. One, the people that rented us our house said our water was safe to drink. It was safe for consumption and safe to use. And now my kids are getting rashes. Are you kidding? That's the first thing. The second thing is that we get our water through PBWR, and if you look on their website, unless they've taken it down,
They have not. I looked it up today.
About it, it says we will have water. You don't have to worry about shutoffs with us. Your water is safe to drink. So as someone coming from out of state, how was I supposed to know that? So all of those people making claims, you live here, you should have known Greenwood is just that way. That's not a real thing. And then also we're building a brand new school where you may not be affected now, but your school's right there. You can literally see it from where we're standing. So what's going to happen? Are they going to have their own water source that isn't affected at all by any of this?
They're hoping that
walking
bond's gonna pass again, where they can get that.
They're going to try to hit it up, and that was their expectation. And then less than 2 miles from that, you have a jail that is going to be receiving water as well. If you don't think that's already going to tax a already taxed water system, watch your water run dry and there be no shut off. She is
Overload the system and get them to bed.
absolutely.
One more thing that we all bought in here, originally when you bought in here, they had a sign up there that said it was city water and sewer.
Yeah.
On the HOA website, it actually says that we have city sewer.
Right.
Terry Johnson
So-
said that it's coming from the city to the jail to the school. I mean, he said that on K-Well. Is that the truth? I'd like to know the answer to that. Why can't we have water if they have water?
Just to talk about possible solutions if they ever get around to it, without having, we can do away with the sewer plant down here. There's actually a sewer line from the city that runs all the way to the schools down here on 307. It's right down 307. The new jail they're building, their sewer is going to go to that line. Where MCUD's wanting to build their new water treatment plant, the RO water out of that water treatment plant, 3 out of the 4 gallons, it's going into that line. The school here goes into that line. The schools down the road goes into that line. We're talking what? Half mile, maybe up there, that we could go into line 2, and we can get rid of the sewer plant. Water. MCUD is going to build a line. It goes here, it comes right down in there. It's going to go right in front of VANDER Ranch. It's going to go right to this school. There's no reason we couldn't tap into that line 2.
So,
There's solutions, and it's not. We don't need the 20, 30, 40, 50 million dollars. We're talking maybe $500,000-$600,000, and we could get it done.
I'm pretty sure plenty of you residents would dig the line yourself. On Permian Basin Water Resources, it was still there today when I was speaking to some people. It says no more trucking, wells, softeners, or RO systems. Say goodbye to the hassle of ensuring you have water that is safe to use and consume. With an already built infrastructure, we're the most reliable means of water distribution in Greenwood. With advanced systems in place, you can trust that your water will always be on. Lies. It is black and white. It is on their website. They can change it now. We've already screenshotted it. Last night, the water wasn't on. Just in case Rick didn't touch, the guy who owns the land owns the HOA. The guy who owns the HOA owns the water. And the guy who owns the water owns the sewer. So who owns all of this? Trevor Hill.
I was told today that it wasn't Nick. The HOA lady told me it wasn't Nick, it was his boss.
His dad.
And she ropes with him, and she's in his ear all the time and doesn't agree with what he does, and he knows it. But she wouldn't give me any contact, of course. So she couldn't really.
Of course.
But she told me that Nick Hill works right up here in this little building, and that we could visit that.
He used to live here.
I'm new here, so I don't know anybody. I'm just learning.
Oh, you got a lot, sister. Take notes.
I'm just learning.
I know that your money from the HOA, the $40 a month, is supposed to pay for this mowing the grass right here. Okay? To keep up the flags that they don't fly. The pool, because the pool is still under developer control. It doesn't belong to the HOA yet. But it's supposed to keep it clean. Imagine what it's going to cost.
So she told me that they're about to spend $2,300 of our citation money that's in the budget. That's where the budget comes from to fix this.
2,300 is what it's going to take?
That's what she said.
Not unless they're trucking in that water, because that water is coming from.
Well, she said the filtration system was going to cost.
Well, yeah, it's hard to filtrate all that damn arsenic and chromium, and
Sand?
I mean the chloride level.
It's nothing but mud.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
We've even thought why don't clean it up. She's even tried to get a quote to do it ourselves. And they said, oh, we'll fix it.
It won't matter though. You can clean it out. But all this
They know if we get power.
Just think of how high the chloride level is in the water that we tested, and yet it still was present with E. coli and coliform. Those two bacteria were still thriving in 3 times the legal limit of chloride.
With a reverse osmosis filtration system, do
Sure.
anything to help?
Like I said, their system is supposed to be the work off of this. I'm assuming it's.
So that's why their website says
Put
it's
it on their
RO
own,
water.
I'm talking about like for the individual homes. You can put
Yeah, it would take out the bad stuff out of the water. Now,
They'd buy you a couple sets of filters though. They'll tell you it's a year change, and we're changing every 4 months.
And you probably need to be changing more than that.
But at $220 per month.
Yeah, does anybody have a proposed solution? And by the way, I want to just make a statement. He was talking about he lived in an apartment and Midland was, it's crappy water. We don't hide our crappy water. We give it to you in glass and you're like, don't drink that. Here's some bottled water. Like, we're not, in the city, we don't hide that we have crappy water. It's a very well-known fact. Now, what is a solution? Does anybody have any thoughts? I mean, surely you guys have been pondering on this issue.
How about we stop building homes that we're gonna supply water?
Well, we have a hard time doing that. Well,
then we can talk about Terry Johnson.
Wait. Before we do that, let me touch base. They're not going to stop building homes because, Rick, what was the number for HOA to come back?
80 for us to take over the HOA right now. Whenever they started building out here, it was 85% of the homes. It was 275 homes. They crossed that a long time ago. So they keep building so they can control the HOA. That's why they're keeping building. And it's money. They're going to make money.
So they're going to keep adding just to keep the HOA out of y'all's hands. There will always be some sort of umbrella over you in Vander Ranch. This is a monopoly, and we don't want this. We also want to stand up and make sure that other subdivisions and communities don't experience this, because when you have one guy in control, who are you going to complain to? It's kind of like K-Well. They have one guy in control, and that person is who we have the complaint with. It's going nowhere. So on to Terry Johnson.